I like the delay. You get me scratching my beard. So real behind the scenes. Behind the scenes footage that people really want to see. How you doing, guys? Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. Ain't that the truth, right? Early chatters are in. Welcome, guys. How are you doing? Good to see you. We are live on YouTube and we are live on Rockfin. If you would like to join me on Rockfin, and please say hello. Rockfin is a place that does not suppress my viewership or my videos as YouTube does. Right? On Rockfin, I have over 3,200 viewers, and that is only in 1 year. I have more viewers than I do on YouTube. In 3 years, that must be because nobody likes to hear what I have to say. Nobody's interested. Nobody's subscribing to me on YouTube because I'm a very bad man or I'm saying weird things nobody wants to hear. That's what that's what YouTube is trying to create for people on some channels, is the idea that they're losing viewers, they're losing viewership, nobody's watching. And so it gives the trolls on this channel some kind of ammunition if they think that's what it is, ammunition. But if you just waltz your little behind over to another channel where far fewer, I get far less traffic, but somehow I have more followers on another channel because I'm saying things that nobody wants to hear, super unpopular, etc. Anyways, whatever. Good to see you guys. Early chatters are in. And always, the most popular things are always the best. It just always means it's the best if you're the most popular. That's the way that really smart humans do it. That's what Anyways, what's up, guys? How you doing? Basil Peterson, Raza, Scott Andrews, William, Orc One, I am Sweetleaf. What's up? How are you? Loey Appitz, Max Sarjay, Judy Truitt, Kevin Shanholzer, Poppy Davis. Who's on the Rockfins? Hello, Poppy Davis. Poppy Davis, I got a tip on Rockfin. Woo! I'm going to ring a bell. Ding, ding. Just imagine a bell. Thanks, Poppy Davis, for the tip on Rockfin. Snake 1974. What's going on? Good to see you. I encourage you to watch me on Rockfin, or at least sign up for an account. Because whatever. Maybe one day I will get sick of the shenanigans on YouTube and just go live on Rockfin only and see how it goes. I don't know. I may just do that once a week. Because it gets frustrating. It gets really frustrating for me. But of course, I might just be imagining it. I might just be making it up. something. What's up, Raza? Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I got a pound. I love to get pounds. I love to get dapped up. I love to get pounds, and I love to get dollar super chats. Thank you, Raza. Bold Rope Lamppost subscriber degrowth. Exactly. Anyways, let's get into it, guys. Oh, somebody was mentioning something about Nina Turner running for Congress. That's cool. I love Nina Turner. I think she's really super radical in the best of ways. But I immediately on Twitter, somebody brought up the idea that maybe you shouldn't get excited about Nina Turner in the Democratic Party. Because what does the Democratic Party do to progressives? They silence them. They smear them on national TV. They possibly rig their elections. Not possibly, they actually do. They rig elections against them. They throw millions of dollars to candidates who are running against them. They undermine them. And they also strong arm them. And they say, if you better do our bidding, or you might be out of the Democratic Party. You may not get our support. You might have to go elsewhere to have a job. That's what the Democratic Party does to progressives. So maybe her energy might be better spent in another party. Maybe being as in the case of Bernie Sanders, had Bernie Sanders jumped the Democratic Party, jumped ship, and went independent in 2016, he could have completely destroyed and dismantled the two-party system. That's probably why he didn't do it, because they were like, nah, Jack, don't get any funny ideas, or we're gonna really make your life miserable. But anyways, a strong, vibrant, clear, populist message from the left might go a lot farther, in the employ of creating a viable third party or third party opposition to the two-party system, rather than being, sucked in and chewed up and spit out chewed up and spit out of the Democratic Party. Maybe your energy might be spent better elsewhere, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Max Sarjay was the one that said Nina Turner making moves. She is making moves. I love Nina Turner. Don't get me wrong. Love Nina Turner. Kevin Chanholzer, thank you so much for the super chat. Loey Appitz, I got €1. I'd love to get the euros too. What's up, Loey Appitz? Thank you so much. Raza, again, thank you for the super chat. You are an eco warrior. Thank you for being here. Irk1, Bernie does that and he really feels the burn. Yeah. Jacob Gordon, that is what we needed in 2016, and the moment may have passed us by, indeed. But yeah, real quickly, yes, so, Bernie Sanders' ally Nina Turner files paperwork to launch House bid. So, yes, this is a real news story. This is really happening. I don't know. It's actually really happening. It's on all the news channels: Cleveland, The Hill, New York. All of them. So I guess it's not fake news because it's in the New York Post. Something like that. Anyways, let's move on. So this is fairly depressing. Coca Cola, Pepsi, and Nestle named top plastic polluters for third year in a row. You don't say. Companies accused of zero progress on reducing plastic waste, with Coca Cola ranked at number 1 for most littered products. You don't say. Really? Tell me more. Coca Cola, PepsiCo, and Nestle have been accused of zero progress on reducing plastic waste after being named the world's top plastic polluters for the third year in a row. Coca Cola was ranked the world's number 1 plastic polluter by Break Free from Plastic in its annual audit, after its beverage bottles were the most frequently found discarded on beaches, rivers, parks, and other litter. That means they're the most, guys, they're the most popular. That they're the best because they're the most popular. We saw more Coca Cola plastic bottles on the beach than any other. That means they're the most popular. So, most popular means the best. So good. So good. Because everybody loves them. They must be doing something right. After its beverage bottles were the most frequently found discarded on beaches, rivers, parks, and other litter sites in 51 of 55 nations surveyed. Last year, it was the most frequently littered bottle in 37 countries. Yes, go Coca Cola. You're number one out of 51 surveyed. It was found to be worse than PepsiCo and Nestle combined. Coca Cola branding was found on 13,835 pieces of plastic, with PepsiCo branding on 5,155 and Nestle branding on 8,633. The annual audit undertaken by 15,000 volunteers around the world identifies the largest number of plastic products from global brands found in the highest number of countries. This year, they collected 346,494 pieces of plastic waste, 63% of which was marked clearly with a consumer brand. Only 63%, so the other 37% is just random plastic, from everywhere. And let's go down a bit. Up to 91% of all plastic waste ever generated has not been recycled and ended up being incinerated. So those recycling programs are really working, right? They're, communities are banding together with corporations and trash collectors all over the planet to step up in their recycling efforts. And after all of that, 9% of the plastic is recycled. Ugh is all I got to say. Ugh. 91% of plastic waste ever generated has not been recycled and ended up being incinerated, in landfill, or in the natural environment, according to 2017 study. This year's global audit of branded plastic was revealed that single-use sachets, which are used to sell small volumes of products such as, ketchup, coffee, and shampoo, were the most commonly found type of item. Wow. Followed by cigarette butts and plastic. So the little tiny, personal sized, or maybe the things you get when you order to go. I'm telling you, man, to go food is some of the most polluting. It's one of the most polluting things you can do. I really like. I still get food out from places sometimes, but every time I get it, it bothers me more and more. I really rarely eat out much. I cook a lot of my own food. I really encourage everyone here on this channel and everyone else to cook their own food, to stop eating out, to stop getting to-go cups and to-go orders and to-go plastic forks and the ketchup packets and the soy sauce packets and the napkins and the boxes and the bags, all that shit that comes with to-go orders is really massive when you add it up, right? Seems so small and insignificant when you're doing your own, when it's just for you. But, oops, sorry about that. But man, to-go food is just, it's really not a good way to go. Anyways, what's up, guys? Osama number 5 on Rockfin. What's up, Sweet Leaf? I like rooting for Rockfin, Poppy. As always, I got to catch up. Osama says, hello, Rockfin Ursus Americanus. We need to be Ursus Majoris instead of Minoris. The big bears instead of the little bears, or the majority bears instead of the minority bears? The bears. Sweet Leaf says, Dems suck. Yes, they do. Dems suck. Anyways. Kuro Hike says, Kevin, you should calculate your carbon footprint after your broadcast yesterday. You made me realize there is no hope. You'll be surprised, I'm sure. Well, how did you calculate it, Kiro? I wonder, because if you go to a lot of carbon footprint calculators, actually just place you. It depends on the country that you live in. So anybody who lives in the United States, it doesn't matter how little you use, has a huge, because they average out the carbon for every per capita for people in the states. So even if you use very little carbon, you still are responsible for all the carbon that the people in the United States, right? So what I'm saying is your carbon footprint's going to be hella high if you live in the US and you're filling out one of those carbon footprint questionnaires, even if you don't use any carbon at all. So you have to really find one that's not weighted by country. And maybe you did do that. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not assuming that you took the standard carbon footprint calculator test. There might be ones that are not weighted. There are calculators based on diet, transportation, hearing, cooling, etc. Yeah. But I don't know. If you have a good one, send it to me. If you have one that's not weighted by country, right? Because even somebody who lives in India that might use a lot of carbon still has a low carbon footprint because the average per capita carbon emissions in India is so low. What's up, Be Authentic? Thank you for the super chat. Love your consistency and humbleness to this fastly evolving climate predicament. Thank you. Be Authentic. William Moy says, I prepare and consume almost every meal at home. Yay me. Yay you, William. Way to go. Yeah, I encourage cooking your own food. I encourage growing your own food if you can do that, but not everybody can grow everything that they eat. But even if you're buying food from the store, it's, way better if you make it yourself. If you're buying, better ingredients and making your food at home and not hiking home all the plastic and all the stuff and the condiments and all that stuff. Boiled rope lamppost, use the climate force. Indeed. Scott Andrews, the U.S. carbon footprint scores high because of the military. Indeed. Kuro hikes, you can look individually. Okay, cool. Good to know. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that my carbon footprint is not, is still high comparatively to other people on the planet. Of course. I'm still living, a somewhat consumptive lifestyle, and I'm aware of it. I admit it. I'm way less consumptive than most, but still have work to do. Basil Peterson, I am off-grid with wind and solar. Use wood to heat, but gas to cook. Cool. Basil Peterson, you are an inspiration to us all. All right, let's move on. Oh. One more thing I wanted to read about this. Coca Cola came under fire from environmental campaigners earlier this year when it announced it would not abandon plastic bottles, saying that they were popular with customers. The people want the plastic, guys, so we're not getting rid of it. Sorry. They want the plastic, so we're going to give the people what they want. In March, Coca Cola, PepsiCo, Nestle, and Unilever were found to be responsible for 500,000 tons of plastic pollution in 6 developing countries each year. In a survey by NGO Tier Fund, the world's top polluting corporations claim to be working hard to solve plastic pollution, but instead they are continuing to pump out harmful single-use plastic packaging, says Emma Priestland, Break Free from Plastics Global Campaign Coordinator. And millions, if not billions, of people around the world are told this is the way you should live. You want to live like Americans live. This is how Americans live. You want to have what Americans have. We all want to have a lifestyle and a standard of living that Americans enjoy. That's what everybody wants. So What we're really going to try to do is aim for getting everybody all the good things that all Americans have. Boo, boo, boo. This is an interesting report. I forgot who sent me this. Oh, by the way, let me give a shout out to a few articles. Well, some of the articles I read on, not yesterday's video, but 2 days before. Christopher Ensminger sent me an article, the first article I read, and Sutiko sent me another article. So thank you guys, just giving you guys a shout out. And thank you all for sending me articles and good, interesting things to read. Human-made materials may outweigh living things by the end of the year. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not really funny, but it's just maybe ridiculous on many levels. The ridiculousness of human-made things may outweigh living things by the end of the year. That's how much stuff we've made and pumped into the planet, the planetary confines of the only habitat that we have. We've made so much stuff. A new study suggests that the mass embedded in human-made items has doubled every 20 years for the past 100 years. Oh, doubled, and doubled. Sounds exponential. Sounds kind of like human beings. You know that human beings and the animals that we keep alive to feed us far outweigh, human beings and the animals that we keep alive to feed us far outweigh the wild animals left on the planet. Far. We are the dominant species, along with the species that feed us, are going to be the only things left on Earth fairly soon. The mass of human-made objects may surpass the mass of living things by the end of 2020, according to scientists. A new study suggests the mass embedded in human-made things, such as buildings, roads, and machines, has doubled every 20 years from the past 100 years. I don't know who sent me this article, but thank you for the article. I can't remember. I'm sorry. If you want to give me a shout out and let me know who sent me this, I think I got this from the comment section, but thank you all. Again, these findings underscore the increasing impacts that humans have on Earth. Researchers say, according to the study, since the first agricultural revolution, humans have halved plant biomass from around 2 teratons. Halved plant biomass to the current value of around 1 teraton. This has been done through land use changes, such as agriculture and deforestation. The increasing production and accumulation of human-made objects referred to as anthropogenic mass has also contributed to a shift in the balance between living and human-made mass. In the study published in Nature, the authors write, we find that Earth is exactly at the crossover point. In the year 2020, the anthropogenic mass, which has recently doubled roughly every 20 years, will surpass all global living biomass. Fairly unbelievable. Fairly unbelievable. We're on our way to wiping out everything that lives on this planet in order to make more shit to buy and to have. On average, for each person on the globe, anthropogenic mass equals to more than his or her body weight. Anthropogenic mass equal to more than his or her body weight is produced every week. Every week. So the amount of weight that all the humans in the world equal up to. We make that amount, the amount of, we make our weight in humans every week. That is wild. They found that at the beginning of the 20th century, the mass of human-produced objects was equal to around 3% of total biomass. But according to the paper, today, human-made mass exceeds the overall global biomass, weighing in at around 1.1 teratons. Yeah, well, if the current trend continues, human-generated mass, including waste, is expected to exceed 3 teratons by 2040. And imagine what the with the remaining biomass will be by 2040. 3 teratons of human-generated mass. Half a ton, quarter. I mean, what was it? Half a teraton, quarter of a teraton. The impacts of these activities has been so abrupt and considerable that it has been proposed that the current geological epoch, they're proposing it, be renamed the Anthropocene. That's already been done. God, was that? You guys ended this with just the most ridiculous statement ever. We are already in the Anthropocene. It's already been named the Anthropocene. You guys are suggesting we rename it the Anthropocene? All right. Well, good for you. You guys are really on top of it. You know. Good work, scientists. Good work. Okay. So let's get back to this article. I wanted to get a little deeper into this, but we've already covered this. We've already covered this, and this is probably looks a lot like the article that we already covered, but this was a few months ago I covered this article. Anyways, Ben C, again, I'm going to repeat from yesterday. How many economists know that 50% of Earth's animal and plant species, which humans rely on for decent survival, now face extinction within decades due to the destructive activities of industrial capitalism? Well, how many economists know that the weight of human-made things is going to outweigh the biomass, the entire biomass of the planet very, very soon? How many of them know that? Probably not many. And the ones that know may not care. Anyways, let's look at this coal situation. Since 2000, the world has doubled its coal-fired capacity to around 2,045 gigawatts. So let's go into this just for a little bit. Yeah, this is from March 26th, 2020. So I probably covered this in March. Because this looks like kind of the same thing, but we'll do a little reset. We'll do a little revisit. I don't know why I can't see any of this. Anyways, I mean, that's what's happening. Since 2000, the world has doubled its coal-fired power capacity to around 2,045 gigawatts. After explosive growth in China and India, more recently, 268 gigawatts has closed due to a wave of retirements across the EU and the US. Combined with a rapid slowdown in the number of new plants being built, this means the number of coal units operating around the world fell for the first time in 2018. That's good. That's good. We'll put one little tiny hash in the win column. Another 213 gigawatts is already set to retire, and 19 of the world's 80 coal-powered countries plan a complete phase-out of the fuel, including the UK and Germany. Meanwhile, electricity generated from coal has plateaued since 2014, so the expanding fleet is running fewer hours. This erodes coal's bottom line, as does competition from other fuels. It could now be cheaper to build new wind and solar than to keep running half of the existing coal plants. Well, let's hope that that is realized soon enough. The way coal's next chapter unfolds is the key to tackling climate change. Let's see how it might unfold. Global unabated coal use must fall by around 80% this decade if warming is to be limited to less than 1.5 C. Again, the misdirection or misinformation is astounding, but we'll go with it. We'll just take it at face value for right now. It must fall by 80% this decade if warming is to be limited to less than 1.5 C, above pre-industrial temperatures, according to recent Carbon Brief analysis. To shed light on the story, Carbon Brief has mapped the past, present, and future of all the world's coal-fired power stations. The interactive timeline map above shows the plants operating in each year between 2000 and 2019, as well as the location of planned new capacity. So let's look at the reality. They kind of try and say, they kind of try and give you a little bit of like here's the good news, but here's the bad, here's the good news first, or here's the here's the path, the bright spots, if you will, and the path forward, etc. But let's look at this: rising coal capacity. The reality is global coal capacity grew in every year between 2000 and 2019. So, yeah, they give you a lot. They give you a lot of the feel good first. Oh, I didn't know. That's interesting. That's great. They're phasing out this coal. That's awesome. The reality is this: global coal capacity grew in every year between 2000 and 2019. Grew. Global coal capacity. So the amount of coal being burned every year grew. So, and when we're talking about global emissions too, that is also has been growing every year. Regionally, country by country, we can get little dips. We can get trends that are going down, or we're kind of fulfilling some commitments. Blah blah blah. But globally, emissions rise every year. Globally, coal rises every year. Or rose every year. I don't know about this year. 2020 is a different animal, but, I'm sure 2021 will put us right back on track. Nearly doubling from 1,066 gigawatts to 2,045 gigawatts. As far back as 1950, coal capacity has only ever risen. Yeah. So for all the good news and the good intentions and the hoopla and the whiz bangs and the, let's get mean and green. The reality, the actual things that are happening are coal capacity grew every year. Globally, 2000 to 2019, as far back as 1950, coal capacity has only ever risen. We're going to need that bridge coal, you know what I'm saying? We're going to need that bridge fuel so we can get to net zero. We're going to need some bridge fuels. I think coal is going to be one of those bridge fuels. Though this older data is less reliable, the rate of growth is slowing dramatically. Well, that's good news. However, with the 20 gigawatt net increase in 2018, the smallest in several decades. I guess that's good news. Still growing, though. Still growing. The promise of cheap electricity to fuel economic growth has driven this expansion. But new coal is now more expensive than renewables in all major markets around the world, according to recently released analysis from think tank Carbon Tracker. I have to question the expensiveness of renewables, because are they doing fancy accounting too? Are they really counting all the carbon emissions that are required to make the renewable products, renewable energy products? Are they really being counted? I wonder. But, we'll just take it on face value that it's cheaper than coal. Coal generates nearly 40% of the world's electricity, close to its highest share in decades. Just when you thought you were going to feel good about the growth is slowing dramatically. Coal growth is slowing dramatically, yet coal generates nearly 40% of the world's electricity, close to its highest share in decades. So maintaining dominance in the market, if you will. And there are now 80 countries using coal power, up from 66 in 2000. Another 13 plan to join the club, notably Egypt and the United Arab Emirates. It's a bright new day. There's greatness on the horizon with coal. Come on, Egypt. Come on, UAE. We're going coal, clean coal. Dirty, shitty coal. All the coal. Let's burn some coal, guys. Come on, let's go. Though this is down from 16 last year. They just keep on trying to give us the bright spots here. The silver lining is something good is happening, even though there's more coal than ever. CO2 emissions from existing plants are enough to breach the carbon budget for 1.5 or 2C. Boom. Ow. Man, that's, when you think everything's going great, and then somebody says, well, the CO2 emissions from existing plants are enough to breach the carbon budget for 1.5 or 2C. I think they meant to say already. And again, if we continue with carbon emissions as they stand, if we go straight across the board, we will be done. We will be out of the quote unquote carbon budget in 7 years. We've got 7 years of just chugging along, business as usual. I hope that I'm wrong. I really, really hope that I'm wrong, but I don't see that changing dramatically in the next 7 years. I really, really don't. Unless somebody or something major topples everything. Topples governments, topples systems, topples economies, whatever. Or unless we have some kind of insane kind of revolution in the next, I mean energy revolution, not like political revolution, but let's just keep it in the hopium, on the hopium spectrum. We have some kind of insane magical energy revolution in the next 7 years, and we go, we magically transform our energy sources, even by half. We'd have to do it by half by 2027, even to keep within the range of what they say is the goal. But whatever. Let's keep going. All unabated coal would have to close by 2040 to stay. Here's the magic words again. Well below 2C. We're trying to stay well below. Well below. Keep saying well below. Everybody, some think tank kept, made up these fucking words that they put in every single article about climate change. Well below. We're going to stay well below 2. We've got to stay well below 2C. Well below. Oh, we're going to stay well below 2C. We're trying to stay well below 2C. How many different ways can I say it? Well below 2C. According to the international agent, it just, that just makes everybody feel like, yeah, well below. We got so far to go. We're going to stay well below. We've got so far to go. Well below. This would mean closing 100 gigawatts of coal capacity for every year for 20 years. Okay. Or roughly 1 coal unit every day until 2040. Woo! Okay. Some pathways have slightly slower phase outs. So we've got to close 1 coal unit every day until 2040 to stay well below 2C. Well below. Alrighty. Anyways. It's just that funny. It's just that hilarious and knee slapping. For the more ambitious, and we're going to get ambitious and stay below 1.5, okay? That's what we're going to do right now. For the more ambitious 1.5C limit, global coal use for all purposes would need to fall by around 80% this decade, according to Carbon Brief analysis of pathways gathered by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, who left out methane out of the whole carbon budget report thing, right? So none of this has any CO2 equivalents or methane, so they left a whole bunch of stuff out of that report just so we could stay well below 2C. This would be equivalent to closing every coal plant in the world. Again, this is just the funniest shit. For every coal plant in the world this decade. Which means we'd have to close more than 1 coal plant every single day. We'd have to close like 2 coal plants every single day. Can we do it? Oh, only if coronavirus completely wipes out. Coronavirus just mutates every single year for the next 10 years. That's the only way it'll happen. We stay on permanent lockdown for the next 10 years. That's the only way that would happen. Or something equivalent to that would have to happen. Oh, yeah. And then, the bleak outlook for the climate is tempered by signs of rapid change. Pipeline and plants under construction, pink, or proposed purple has shrunk by 2/3 since. So they're going to, they're just, They just hit you with some, seriously face-slapping reality. And then they were like, but hold on, there's still some good news, guys. We can make it. Maybe we can. I don't know. Maybe we can. I don't see it. Does anybody else see it? Is there anybody out there who's, who seriously has an idea that we're going to close 2 coal plants a day for the next 10 years? Or one coal plant every day for the next 20 years? Anyways, I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag. Mostly bad if you really are paying attention. Yes, coal has peaked. It's decreasing. However, it has the biggest market share. Had the biggest market share last year, or this year. Biggest market share in decades. So somehow coal is decreasing and it's slipping, and it's going away and it's going down. And it's decreasing, and the plans are decreasing, but somehow it had the biggest market share that it's had in decades this year. I find that those two things to be slightly incongruous with each other. Like, how can you say we're going in the right direction, but however, coal use has risen every single year from the years 2000 to 2019, but we're going in the right direction. Ah, it's just, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say about it, but whatever. But there's guys, Simon Evans, Dr. Simon Evans. When it comes to cheap electricity, the center of gravity is shifting rapidly away from fossil fuels around the world. All right. But we've been rising every single year for the last 20 years. So that's good. That's good news, even if it's not true. Thanks. Thanks, Dr. Simon Evans. Yeah. Anyways, guys, all right. I'm too depressed to read on. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Maybe some more good things are happening. Good things around the corner. Osama asks, any upcoming interviews? Not that I know of, but I'm trying to get some people to interview. I don't know why. I have a really hard time working out logistics with people. So, I've been talking to people over the last few weeks about. I've been talking to a few people I'd like to interview, but nothing has really happened. Jim Massa was cool, although we had audio problems. So maybe I'll bring Jim Massa back real soon, and we'll do something with better audio. Jacob Gordon, this is just the unfolding climate collapse support group. Yeah, I'm working. Osama, I'm working on it. There are some people I'd really like to interview and talk to. So, what's up, people on Rockfin? How you doing? Cornholio has joined us on Rockfin. Poppy Davis, coal use has only risen every year. Renewables aren't replaceables. Cornholio says, pitchforks out. Poppy Davis says, Kevin and Sandy would both be good narrators on audiobooks. Maybe a side gig. Maybe so. Poppy Davis, the plastic in our bodies is accumulating in our brains. Definitely not going to happen. Cornholio. Cornholio. It's one of my favorite handles. Thanks, Cornholio. Orca One says Doomer Confessions. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but yes, I am working on getting some more interviews, some more people to talk to. We all need people to talk to. Anyways, guys, I have run out of time. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. Yes, Grateful Dan. I actually had a back and forth with Roger Hallam a little bit on Facebook, and we were talking about doing an interview. But Roger Hallam is kind of, I feel like he's kind of bouncing in and out of jail and other things that he's doing. So I'll try again. It looked like he was possibly going to do an interview with me, but then it kind of just fell apart. Our communication fell apart. But it's mostly my fault. I have a lot of other things going on, so I'm trying to balance many things. Yes, Peter Wadhams, Jim Massa, Paul Beckwith, Stuart Scott. Stuart Scott would be great. All right, thanks, guys. I'll see you back here at 11 a.m. tomorrow, Pacific Standard Time. Louis Appett says the UN emissions gap report 2020. Well, I kind of covered it yesterday. I'm not going to cover it today because I've run out of time. But I mean, if you would like to go into it a little more, yes, we can do that. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. But I think we kind of got the general gist of it yesterday. But I'll see if there's any other good graphs and paragraphs to scare up tomorrow. All right, guys. Until tomorrow, peace.